Hello, people. Welcome to another episode of Premier League Khanage. I believe it's episode 18. Listen, Grizz probably killed me for not knowing the episode, but I think it's episode 18. But it's one of those ones where there's so much has happened this weekend. It's been a long weekend here in the UK, obviously, Easter holidays and that. But yeah, we've got a nice panel here today. We've got Sani next to me, bro. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Like you said, long bank holiday weekend. You know what it's like in the UK. Everyone's always out. The weather was quite good as well, so just soaking it all up and enjoying the football, especially the games over the weekend, which I can't wait to discuss. But pleasure to be here as always. So looking forward to it, and obviously big up the panel as well.
Yeah, big up, big up. Goonie, how you doing, bro? Like Chelsea, I know they're not doing too well. I've seen you come on here a few times when I've not been, on the show. But what are you thinking about the football, life in general? Any thoughts to start off the show?
Football-wise, my football life is shot to death, mate. Yeah, there's no two ways about it. Absolutely shot to pieces. We've now got Super Frankie Lampard to top it off as interim manager. Yep. I'm just that's where I am with Chelsea. But in life, I'm good. I'm recovering. I wasn't too well, but I'm recovering well. My kids are healthy, family's healthy. Can't ask for more. You get me? Thanks for asking. Big up everyone on the panel as well.
Big up. See, exactly. There's things that are more important than football. Michael, on your side, I don't know, man. I see you're on the football, you're on the American sports as well. I don't know why you're giving yourself so much stress. But
Bro,
Man United surely helped you this weekend.
Yeah, bro, it's a lot, bro. I got playoff basketball this weekend. We got Premier League, too many sports. But nah, good United back on the winning mark, 6 points in a week, and then we obviously had Arsenal, Liverpool game of the season, arguably, and then we'll talk about the robbery of the season and the other team in North London. So a lot to talk about. Also, big up everyone on the panel as well.
Yeah, and then to bring us the proper ball knowledge, it's not a Premier League fan. He comes from the outside perspective. It's Mo, our resident here at Football Carnage. Right, how you doing?
How's everybody? I don't like that you just said just a nice panel. This is a great panel. Just give us the right introduction, Bilal. Come on. People in the chat, hit that like button for us, please. You hit the like button, we go more and more out to the out world. So just do it. Hit that like button. Let's see a 50 like just in the next 5 minutes. It looks like this. It's free. Doesn't cost you a penny. Just hit it. Let the counter count. Go your burner account.
Facts.
Just hit that.
Facts. Yeah, don't Kai Havertz the button, Erling Haaland the button. You get me? Yeah. Clinical finish.
Exactly. But I think that's a good segue, because we'll just start off straight on the Chelsea. We've got Sani here putting up the same old Chelsea, always losing. That seems to be the theme of the season. And yeah, let's get out the lineups. I've got here for the Wolves game. And I had my eye on this game, to be fair. I was trying to watch out 4 games at the same time. I was trying to be like, Mo, I've seen your screen, so I tried to copy it. And yeah, like from what I could see, every time I looked, Wolves seemed to be, having fun. That's
bro, we got crashed. What do you mean? Tell it as it is, fam. We got absolutely crashed, bro. Yeah, that was a spankage. It was lucky it was 1-0 to be fair, bro. But flipping hell, we got crashed, mate. And do you know what? You need to show who was on the bench as well to emphasize how much of an atrocity that lineup was.
Pulisic, Aubameyang, you guys can see here, Mudryk, Chilwell on the bench, Chalobah, Zakaria, Loftus-Cheek, Badashile, Mendy. Obviously, you got Thiago Silva, Mason Mount here injured. But yeah, the bench looking very strong.
Why?
But in terms of lineups, you wasn't happy with this lineup that Frank Lampard put out.
Hands up here if you think Conor Gallagher's a good football player. Okay, cool. So that's my point number 1. Yeah. Koulibaly, to be fair, I think an 8's pushing it, bruv. Yeah, he had an all right game. I was surprised to see him start. Kai Havertz, I don't know what he has to do to just get off the pitch, bro. Because his performances as of recent are not even as of recent, man. He's just not been good enough for the longest, man. He's so inconsistent. I'm just tired of it, bro. Raheem Sterling, bro, it's just an all-round shit show, if I'm completely honest with you. But then if I'm being real, whatever lineup we put out there with the state of affairs that we have, I've got no confidence in it whatsoever. And last time I came on here, I believe I said, I have no expectations of this manager, Frank Lampard. I know why they hired him, and it was a bit of a cowardly move as to why they done it. But I can understand why they had to do that, because they know us as fans, there's only a certain point we're gonna go with Frank Lampard. But if you're asking me, was this guy gonna come in and do anything different? Absolutely not. I don't care if there's people calling me negative. I know what Frank's capable of. He knows what he's capable of. We saw it the first time round. We saw it at Everton. This is not a top level manager. So I'm not expecting this guy to come in and do anything different. Yeah, we're gonna keep seeing results like this. This is just a fact.
He did something different, but different bad. So your XG this game went down, your passing percentage went down, your positional football went down, because I was watching NBC and they have this tactical analysis for the game, and everything went down. Every single statistic in this game for Chelsea went down. And why would you want to? You have the best 3 center backs now. Fofana is fit. Just freaking put 3 in the back, bro. You have like, what are you doing? Like, you have 3 good center backs and 2 wing backs that are great. Why are you limiting Reece James playing 4 in the back? Why are you limiting your left back playing 4 in the back? It's unbelievable. And Raheem Sterling is not firing. The guy is Pep Guardiola's player. What are you doing? Putting him on a wing and asking him to provide to Kai Havertz, who cannot play football.
Oh my God. It's so sad because it's true, bro.
Atrocious. And I'm watching the game. I had it on the third screen. Every time I'm looking, Chelsea players didn't know what to do. They have been playing 3 in the back since the beginning of the season. And again with Thomas Tuchel, you're coming in your first game and you're telling these guys, listen, I've been here for 2 days. We're changing everything. You are here, you are there, you are on the bench. But I've been the best player. But Parashina's looking and was like, I've been good. Why I'm not playing?
Why am I not playing?
It's like, I'm not playing. Reece James is like, I came back from injury and I've been very good as a wing back. Coach, why are you putting me as a right back in the back 4? And you're going to stay behind Raheem Sterling. And I'm like, what is going on? What is this guy thinking? I could have coached that game and put 3-5-2 and at least created something. This is atrocious. Joao Felix, left winger. What is he watching? Is he watching a different Chelsea? What's this guy doing?
Mo,
he want to be like different. You know what I mean? Like, he want to be, as exactly what you said. He wants to be different, but he doesn't know how. So he'd be different wrong.
Mo, let me tell you something. You see, when I saw Frank Lampard was interim manager of Chelsea, I just switched my phone off and just rolled over and went to sleep. That was it, because that's basically our season. Because look, there's nothing from any sort of tactical perspective that this guy can manage what is going on now. He's basically a PR stunt sitting down at managerial role. This is no disrespect to Frank. I love him as a player, but I'm not going to sit here and lie to people because he's a Chelsea legend at the ability of this man. He has shown every single person here and everybody listening that this guy is not a good manager. I've said several times, even when he was at Chelsea, after he left Chelsea, I hope he goes into recruitment because he might have something there. He has a vision in terms of building teams, but to execute what's needed on the pitch, he definitely ain't it. 100%.
Yeah, Sani, just any thoughts on Lampard? And also, because I find it interesting, my own point of view, that every manager seems to always use Kai Havertz, up front. I don't understand, like, why do they keep doing the same thing and expecting different results? Is it not the definition of insanity? But Sani, what are your thoughts on Lampard and also maybe some of the personnel that's available to Chelsea right now as well?
Well, as the chant goes, oh, Roman, do you know what that's worth? Kai Havertz, the best. Oh, listen, they've got that chant right. But there's a reason why it's not getting sung around the Matthew Harding anymore, because it's just abysmal. Like, Goonies mentioned it, Mo's mentioned it. It's a shame because Chelsea have a very talented squad. There are still a few pieces Chelsea need to definitely, compete going forward next season, seasons onwards. But still a very good squad. But to think that you have 3 at the back as a perfect formation and you will not play it, either stinks of you being very ignorant or you just don't know what you're doing as a manager. So it's either one or the other, and it does not a good look for Lampard.
Oh, it's definitely B. Definitely B.
I mean, Goonies obviously very adamant it's B. I probably am in agreement with him. I mean, why Conor Gallagher is playing in that 3 is beggars belief. Enzo Fernandez, Kovacic, and then Gallagher. I mean, the first 2 you're thinking, okay, nice. You got someone who's quite progressive in midfield, and then Gallagher I just don't get it. And Kai Havertz, listen, a lot of people have given him time. A lot of people have said, "Oh, he wants Champions League, etc." And yeah, granted, you've got someone like on Sterling on the wing who's definitely not going to be that creative outlet that you want for a Havertz. But to think that Kai Havertz has been here for what 2-3 seasons now, is it, Gunny? And
3 long seasons.
3 long seasons, and to think that other than a few games, he's really turned up in. It's not really a good look. And listen, Chelsea have a lot of thinking to do this summer. They've got to trim some of the fat, as I like to say around here. Get rid of a lot of these players. Recruit maybe a keeper, a 6, I'd say, and a striker. And maybe we can talk about Chelsea next season. But listen, people forget Wolves are in a relegation battle. And to think that they got done like that at Molineux. Yeah, it was a great goal, by the way, from Nunez. Like, shout out to him. Yeah. But to think that Chelsea got overrun like that is a shambles, and it's not a good look for everyone involved. So I give my sympathies to Chelsea fans, because I know a lot of Chelsea fans right now, and they're not happy with how it's going. But all I can say is short-term pain, long-term gain.
Facts.
They released a video of Kai Havertz in training, and he was banging goals. And I think that's why he plays. I'm serious, by the way. If you play football, and I don't know if any one of you played football, sometimes coaches see something in training and they stick to what they see in training. He has to be scoring goals in training all the time. His numbers must be up in training. Like, these are professionals, because it doesn't make any sense that he plays striker with now 4 managers now, or 4 managers.
Yeah, every manager.
So there has to be something in training that we don't know. This guy must be like scoring tons of goals in training, but
yeah, it's mad. Michael, just going to come to you on a few thoughts on Chelsea. Obviously, you can give us your overall thought, but on Chelsea, do you think it could get worse for them this season, or is this as bad as it's going to get?
Hey man, I look at their fixture list. 15th place don't sound out the sound right now. It's very possible. I've seen their fixture list. If Frank Lampard persists with this 4-3-3, the only excuse he has to play 4-3-3 is if Luis Enrique is already the Chelsea manager behind the scenes, and he's pretty much saying start the 4-3-3 so they could kind of get used to it for next year. Otherwise, no excuse to play 4-3-3, because like everyone said, the 3-back they need a 3-back manager to begin with. That squad is built for 3 at the back. You have 3 excellent center backs, and you have a couple on the bench. You have the 2 midfielders, and you have forwards that really kind of need to play in a 5-3-5-2 pretty much, because Kai Havertz and João Felix can't play on the wing. We see that. He can barely play in the middle, because that guy still doesn't create any chances anyway.
I've got an unpopular opinion about João Felix as well, but go on.
Yeah, with João Felix. I saw today that apparently Top Bully might have fallen for those aura tweets on Twitter or something, because I don't get what this persistence with signing João Felix for. It's going to be probably 80 mil signing. Probably, I would say 86, when you're going to have a better player coming in the summer in Nkunku, because I think for me, Nkunku is better than João Felix, based on the fact that he's more consistent with his finishing and he's a better chance creator. Kai Havertz is still probably going to be there, whether Chelsea fans like it or not. That guy's probably just going to always be there until his contract runs out somehow. He'll always survive. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, bro. I didn't watch the game, to be honest, because I don't want to watch Chelsea right now. I have other football matches to watch. I have better things to watch, because I watch for Potter, because I kind of rate Potter as a manager. Obviously didn't go right, but I kind of rate his tactical ability much higher than a Frank Lampard, for example. I wanted to see how the Potter project was going, but I don't want. What am I going to watch for Frank Lampard? 4-3-3 in a system in a team that doesn't fit 4-3-3. There's better things to do. But Wolves, give them credit. I think they're at 13th now. I think they're only 6 points behind Chelsea. It's not that far off, and their squad is probably
9.
Oh, it's 9. What was it? I think Crystal Palace
9 or
8 points.
Crystal Palace are 6. Yeah, Crystal Palace are 6 points behind now. Wolves. I like their squad. Their squad should not be in the relegation battle, but they did a lot of things wrong. They don't have a striker. Like Diego Costa, I thought he tore his ACL like 3 months ago. I'm not gonna lie. When he got injured and he was fine.
He was done, yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was done. I found out he was playing
for the World Cup. You know, the ones there when these players sometimes they think the injury is worse than it actually is, but luckily it's not that bad.
I want to ask a question to Goonie, since he's the Chelsea supporter here. Listen, Luis Enrique came with the demands this morning. It's reported everywhere. Number one, he wants assurances for time. That means he wants a long-term contract. He's demanding about 6 players, a striker, 2 wingers, a central midfielder, and 2 wing backs. That's his demand. This is what's reported. And he wants a full control of the transfer market. Do you think, as a Chelsea fan, like another long-term contract, and let's get this guy a long-term contract before we see what he can do? Because remember, he succeeded with Barcelona, yes, but he failed with Celta Vigo and he failed miserably with Roma.
I agree with you.
I love his football. Like with Spain, he was working with, like a little bit of a disabled squad. You know what I mean? that the squad is not the same Spanish squad, but he was doing wonders in terms of the
But
way
still
he
Spain.
played.
The difference is, in my opinion, just about in Spain is still always Spain, and they always have like a base
Yeah,
level of technical ability and understanding
I
that
see
I
your
think he
point.
can still, yeah. But if he goes to a Chelsea and he's demanding all of that for me, obviously Guni, you come in now. Like I don't think Chelsea. It's not personnel. It's not a personnel issue. It's mentality. I
The
think some of these
squad is
players.
there. Why are you asking for 6 players? I'm sorry. You have Raheem Sterling. If you can't work with Raheem Sterling and you work with Dani Olmo in the Spanish squad and what's his other, like Ferran Torres, Raheem Sterling has to be a better player than these guys. I'm sorry. Dani Olmo is good and all, but this is Raheem Sterling. You're demanding wingers when you have Mudryk and you have Joao Felix that was supposed to be on the books next year. Come on, just give me a break. Well, he's asking too much. And also, you spent 600 million. Can you afford to spend another that much money on 6 players?
Definitely not. Definitely not. And I agree with you. Enrique has never been my first choice for several reasons, but one of them being he likes to misprofile players a lot. And I've seen enough of that at Chelsea Football Club. I don't want to see it again. Now, look, he did a great job with Barcelona, but people, everything has to come with perspective. Look at the squad that he had to deal with. Neymar, Messi, Suarez up top. Enough said. Do you know what I mean? He was supposed to win what he won with that group of players. That's an elite crop of players. Everybody here can agree with that. Celta Vigo elsewhere, quite rightly, like you said, didn't do a great job. Even Spain, for me, some of the choices that he made, me seeing Dani Olmo playing at wing back, coming in from the wing with, he's more of a central player. I'm not really trying to see that again at Chelsea Football Club. And then this notion of having to spend so much money on that amount of players, and considering we've invested in several of those positions anyway, it's not feasible. And on top of that, if he wants to come in and have some kind of control in terms of the transfers, then he's coming to the wrong club, because unfortunately for him, we've already got a recruitment model that we've just hired. We're bringing in more people to be in charge of that. So I don't really see how that's going to work.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. For me, let me just give my 2 pieces about this, which is going to sound strange. I didn't say it before. I think Antonio Conte is the right manager for Chelsea for a year. They give him 1 year or 2 year contract. He comes in, fix these players, puts the winning mentality there. These players, some of them are winners. Some of them like Kovacic, Kante, even Enzo, World Cup winner, Thiago Silva, Koulibaly. These guys are good footballers. They just need the right mentality. Not a long term. Just get him short for 1 year. The squad is built for 3-5-2. Maybe with time you offload some players, but Lukaku's coming back. Kai Havertz is a striker that Antonio Conte would love to work. He's a big guy. Just he needs a 2-striker formation to work with, which is what he had at Leverkusen. And you have Sterling, can be the replacement for Willian at Chelsea, like back in the days. And I think long term, no, like 2 years contract, get him in, fix the mentality in the club, and just move on to a project, because getting someone like Luis Enrique a 5-year contract might be a big mistake at the moment.
Michael, any thoughts on that? Do you agree? Maybe a Conte type manager for Chelsea, because over the years, Chelsea's identity has been just win at all costs. It's not been about pretty football or that nonsense. It's been about mentality, winning. Maybe Conte is someone who can instill that again at Chelsea Football Club.
It's weird because I'm going to assume they're going to offload a lot of people in the summer. They're going to try to sell as many players as possible because they have no other choice due to FFP. And I expect a lot of older guys to leave as well. Like most of that, Kovacic ain't going to be there in the summer. That guy's been wanting to leave Chelsea for a minute. If an offer comes in for Raheem Sterling, I think Chelsea take that offer and sell him, to be honest. I think they'll take it.
He's not going, Michael. He's on a 350K. He's not going unless someone offers him. Nobody in the world would offer him 350K a week for 4 years.
And living in London, free that money.
Koulibaly, like let's say a Serie A club's coming in for Koulibaly, like a Juventus, for example. I think Chelsea would take that offer because of the young center backs that they have in the wings, potentially. So I think, for me, I don't think Enrique is the right manager, but I would go more of the project than the Conte, because they have a lot of young players. Like they spent 100 mil on Mudryk. You're gonna have to find a manager that can develop that guy, because he's a long-term investment that you made. Madueke, that's another guy. All those guys need real coaching. For me, Antonio Conte ain't the guy for that, personally, in my opinion. I don't think Enrique is either, because he wants wingers, so he probably doesn't rate them already. So that's a bad start to begin with. He doesn't rate Madueke or Mudryk probably. Maybe Nagelsmann, but I don't think he's gonna. I think he's gonna go with Paris, to be honest with Nagelsmann. I think PSG gonna go that route with him. For me, I'd probably maybe like the sporting manager. I've heard that Chelsea like him a lot, Ruben Amorim. I'd probably maybe go that route because he plays the third at the back as well, so he knows how to coach that. And I just think that he's probably more mentally strong than a Graham Potter. Probably, I think Ruben Amorim. I trust him more to be more ruthless with that squad, and he's more of the project manager, probably Todd Bowley, because Todd Bowley with Enrique or Conte, they're gonna fight within 3 weeks. Because Conte's gonna say something to Todd Bowley, and Todd Bowley ain't gonna like it. He's gonna be like, "Get out of my club," and he's gonna do the same thing with Enrique, probably a little longer because Conte is more controversial to talk to than Enrique because Conte loves to have a fuss. So I'd probably go the project manager route still, but they need to do their research on it though because they can't go. They shouldn't have their manager chosen already because they need Todd Bowley needs to get this right because if he doesn't get this right, then Chelsea are in a lot of trouble for the long term because you can't mess up on a managerial hire twice in 2 years. I don't think that's a long time since I've seen that happen at a big club personally.
Yeah, just to obviously, I know I'm wary of time, especially for Goonie, but I just want to get the fixtures up that Chelsea are going to have, right? Obviously, the big clash now is Real Madrid. Is what possible way, because we're talking about the future managers, etc. But Real Madrid just in 2 days now?
Yep.
How can Chelsea beat Real Madrid? Is there a way?
With Frank Lampard at the touchline and Carlo Ancelotti as his opposite, no, I don't see it happening. And I say this like I don't say this with any kind of pride whatsoever. I say this with the utmost realism. You're looking at one of the greatest managers to ever do this in our generation versus Frank Lampard. On top of that, you're looking at the current holders of the Champions League trophy, and they've won it serially over the past several years. I don't see it happening, and we're going away to them in the state that we're in. We can't even get a win against Wolves. We're getting done every single week. We're being embarrassed. How am I looking at this game with any kind of optimism? I cannot.
Yeah, Sani, have you got any words of optimism for Chelsea fans in regard to this Real Madrid tie, or are you on the same boat where you might as well just forfeit, just not even play the game? That's what it sounds like to me.
Listen, I said another chant before, got another one for Chelsea fan. We've got Super Frankie Lampard. Listen, you can sing that as much as you want. I'm in the same boat as Goonie. Unfortunately, in the words of a certain Castillo, it's not looking good, bruv, because Real Madrid in the form they're in terms of they don't give a shit about the league. They lost at Villarreal at home. They don't care for it. They went to the new camp, did an absolute demolition job on Barcelona. All they care about now are the cups. And like Goonie said, this is their competition. They're the kings of Europe. They're going to put a performance on. The only way I think Chelsea can come out of this tie is if they lose maybe 1-0, 2-1. They go back to the bridge with something. But the form that they're in, and both teams, the forms that both teams are in, it's going to be a very, very long night. And it's a shame because at some stage I was there thinking, could Chelsea do what they did in 2012? They came through Napoli in that second leg, like they did with Dortmund this time around. They had Benfica and then Barcelona, but that Barcelona side was one of the best Barcelona sides of all time, right? So to think that Chelsea got through that, thinking, could they do it this year?
Marcelo makes a good point here. Chelsea squad is good enough to beat Madrid 5-4-1 formation. Now, I don't think we'll beat them, but if we go to a back five, 100%, I'll feel at least we're not going to get embarrassed. I feel a little more confident with that formation, but Frank ain't going to do it. He's not.
No, agreed. I mean, you definitely need to play five at the back. I'd say for me, if I was Frank, just play a very defensive low block, park the bus, and just look to hit them on the counter. Because although Madrid have got a very good midfield, if Chelsea let's say for example play Enzo, Kovacic, and Kante, that's quite a good midfield if you ask me. I know they got the likes of Kroos and Modric in theirs, and probably Valverde is going to come in. I think they'll play Rodrigo on the right, which does mean they got pace. But if Chelsea play three at the back and they have a very good game, Chelsea can do all right in this game. It's just a case of if Frank Lampard puts his ego first or. The
problem is the players that we don't have registered for this game. Do you know what I mean? Badiashile is not registered. I don't think Fofana is registered. So if we go with the back three, really thinking about it, Thiago Silva's injured. Yeah, really thinking about it, who do we have to play in there? Koulibaly, Trevor Chalobah, and probably Cucurella. That would be
Fofana's not registered.
Fofana's registered.
Oh, he is registered.
Wesley Fofana.
Yeah,
Wesley
Fofana.
Wesley
Badiashile, that's not registered.
Badiashile
is not registered. So yeah, my bad.
But I just think if you go toe to toe with them, it's going to be a very, very long night. If you literally
Chelsea will win the game.
Three at the back, then yeah. Whoa, what was that?
I know Mo believes they're going to win. So tell us how.
At the Bernabeu.
Yeah, I don't know. Mo's got this belief that Chelsea might do something. in some ways, listen, if it happens, Chelsea, that five at the back, if they limit the space of Vinicius to run in, in behind, that's the main thing. A lot of these Real Madrid goals you see, even against Barcelona, when they get space, they will kill you. You have to limit the space and then try and score. But the problem for me with Chelsea on my side is that, yes, they could limit the space and make it difficult for Real Madrid. But when it's their chance now to score a goal, will they do it? And most likely they won't. And that's why, for me, I don't know, Mo,
Bro,
maybe
Real
you have a
Madrid
different idea.
is a Vini Junior. Like Real Madrid against Villarreal, it was all Vini Junior, and Villarreal created like 50,000 chances in the weekend. Like seriously, like Real Madrid are good and all, but in the competition. But again, Chelsea squad, if you look at Fofana, Koulibaly, Kukurea, Chilwell, Reece James, this back five, they're better than Real Madrid's back five, back four as well. I'm sorry, they're better.
What about the attack, Mo? What about the attack? Who's
Enzo Fernandez?
X factor.
Enzo, exactly. But that's why you can come back to Stamford Bridge with 0-0. It is doable. It's 100% doable. I'm sorry, Enzo Fernandez is good enough to stop Toni Kroos. Kovacic is good enough to play against Modric. He knows him from the Croatian team. They are good enough. But again, it's Frank Lampard. Maybe someone else. Maybe I coached him this game. Maybe. But seriously, it's unbelievable. Like the squad is good enough to play this game. The squad, Carvajal against Modric. If you can utilize Modric's speed behind Carvajal, that's an outlet over there. It's simple. I don't think it's that hard. The problem is he's not going to do it, Frank Lampard. But someone should tell him, bro, take this different. It's not the league. Just this is Real Madrid. You're not playing Wolves. You're not playing Crystal Palace. It's a different game. I think Chelsea have a good squad, especially with Fofana back. I rate Fofana. If Badashiri was there, I guarantee you that they might have come up with a clean sheet.
Bro, you see why I don't have faith in this manager? This is a man that still decides to play Enzo Fernandez as a DM. And when you're doing that, you've got Zakaria in the team. It doesn't strike me with much tactical sense. And I don't really put the most confidence in him going into this game. What you're saying makes perfect sense, bro. Makes perfect sense. I'd go with the back five. I'd go with I know not the best. It's the best we have. Not still not the most balanced, but Enzo Kante pivot. I would go with that. I will try and really minimize the goals or win possession up high and really try and create chances that way as well. You've got the balance of two, a great balance of two there. But it's just the front three, man. The front three. I trust João Felix in front of goal. No, I don't. Do I trust Kai Havertz in front of goal? No, I don't. Do I trust Raheem Sterling in front of goal? No, I don't. Who else is left? Modric.
Pulisic, Aubameyang, is he registered? I'm not
even sure. Not registered.
No, Aubameyang is not registered.
So,
it's the problem.
Yeah, sure. That's another thing. Yeah, maybe the players you should have like a player like Aubameyang, as maybe useless as he is in 90% of the general play nowadays, he can get you a goal. And that's
Graham Potter screwed up. Graham Potter really screwed up. He really screwed up in some of these registrations.
Before I go, the reality of the situation is, and this is where the fundamental problem is, in that lineup, in that back five lineup that should start, 3 players I trust in front of goal the most are defenders. Ben Chilwell, Reece James, and Fofana off a set piece.
I think that just sums it up, honestly, on the Chelsea front. Where, big up, honestly, big up Green. If you want to obviously leave now, you can. If you want to join us now, because I think we'll move on to Brighton versus Tottenham, which was an interesting game. Yeah, but big up Greeny, man. Honestly,
man. Respect to everyone. Mo, hope to see you again. Big up everyone. Yes. Michael, everyone, man, on the panel. Big up everyone in the chat as well. Hey, thumbs up the thing, innit? Thumbs up the video. Yeah. Show some love. Subscribe as well if you are new. Peace up. Bless.
All right, man. Peace. But yeah, as Sani's put here, VAR robs De Zerbi's Brighton. And we can get into the referees. Let me get the lineup up right here.
What lineup? Don't talk to me about the lineup or anything. This is a disgrace to football. I'm watching this game. This is disrespect to everyone that turned on the TV and everybody that went to this game from away fans. Come on. You cannot be that incompetent. 3 goals, 3 of them, like the 2 goals and the penalty, The 2 goals are 100% correct. That handball on McAllister is inconclusive. There is a clear angle that shows that it really hit his hip, not his hand. Why are they calling it off? And also that penalty, how clear can it get? It cannot get this. I think the referee got distracted with how Tottenham want to be in the top 6. I think with the fans, I think something has to be investigated there, because I think this is unfair for Brighton. They were pushing for Europe. They want to keep Tottenham on the toes of like the Man United and Newcastle. This is unfair. This is a disgrace. And also performance-wise, Tottenham don't even deserve. Sometimes you perform well, but and the decisions go your way. Tottenham didn't perform, and the decisions went their way. And it's not even one decision, 3 decisions. This is garbage, and this game should be rescheduled and should be replayed again.
Listen, I did a video today on my channel just talking about this. For me, honestly, it's getting to the point now with VAR and the referees where before I was thinking maybe they're just incompetent, they don't understand football, and then when they watch a replay, sometimes they give themselves more and more doubts, because sometimes you watch something in slow motion so many times that maybe you're seeing it differently each and every time. I don't know, but it's got to the point now where for me, this is suspicious. That's all I'm gonna say. On my channel, use a bit of a stronger word. It started with a C, but this is looking very suspicious. And Michael, I don't know if you're getting the same feeling as me. Do you think the referees are they doing this just because, let's say, they're stupid? Let's just say they're stupid. Or are they doing it a bit for something more sinister?
Those 3 p.m. games in England are blacked out, right? So they're not on TV. You can find every single game there's some kind of weird decision in every every top 6 game. It's happened all year because they're not on TV. It's like, I'm telling you, the Premier League, the refs just run with narratives. It's a narrative. They just make the decision based on narrative, nothing to do with football. And we're gonna talk about the Liverpool game with the Andy Robertson. The refs and the players have a big issue where they don't like one another right now. Like with the Mitrovic thing, the 8-game ban, Robertson, the elbow, it's a whole thing. And the Prem needs to do something about it. PGMOL coming out with the apologies every time you get every time you go up to a ref, you get charged $75K. It's a whole mess right now. They need to, like, in terms of VAR, they need to not allow refs to be in charge of VAR. They need to find an outside neutral perspective to put in charge of VAR to make decisions, because it's not like you could say like the refs, the decision VAR is made by Premier League refs. It's not made by anyone else. So it's the same ones that make the mistake on the field that the next game where they're ahead of the VAR, they'll make the same mistake. So there's no consistency. But like Mo says, Spurs did not deserve anything. The one goal came from Son scoring his first goal in like 3 months, it feels like. And then the Harry Kane goal. Brighton were absolutely dominant the whole game. They deserve to be the goal. The hit with McAllister and Matoma, where it hit pretty much his bicep. They dominated them. And it's a shame because Brighton, honestly, through pretty much since World Cup, they've probably been the 3rd best team in the league, to be honest, in terms of consistent performances. I haven't really seen them play like a bad game, really. And it's a shame because if they won that game, their top 4 push would have actually been very legit. Because I think they would have been only 4 points off of us, and we still have to play them at the Amex. So it was a serious top 4 push. And I'm sure a lot of people want to see Brighton in Europe because they're a team that, for me, if they go up against, maybe not in Champions League, but in Europa League, I don't think any team really wants to play them in Europa League because this is a team that knows how to dominate the ball, are really good in transition. They know how to defend. It's a really good team. And the Premier League with the narratives of the Big Six, even though Spurs shouldn't even be a Big Six club, and they probably won't be in the next couple of years. So they're doing this just to help them for this year when they're going to be kicked out by Newcastle anytime soon. So it's just a disgrace from the Premier League. It's just annoying, and well, we can't really do anything about it until they change. But will they change? Probably not.
Son, did you have that same perspective maybe as us? Because for me, as I said, like I think it's like these referees are just it's beyond incompetence now. But from your side, what do you think it is really in terms of these referees?
I mean, some of what you guys are saying is true. I mean, I know Michael's a big NBA fan. I know, NBA refs can also be known to, especially in the playoffs, favor certain teams, like the Lakers, for example. But going back to this game, for example, the thing is, I know people would love the aspect of Brighton being in Europe. Like, for example, if they won this game, they'd have been on 49 points, which would have put them 1 point behind Spurs with 2 games in hand. That would have been huge. Right now, they're 6-7 points behind Spurs with 2 games in hand. So it's a bigger gap, right? And currently they're sitting in the Europa Conference League. So these points would have mattered huge. But going back to what Michael said, I know Spurs are in the Big Six, but as much as it would have been nice to see, these teams in the Europa League, etc., the fact of the matter is the Premier League is built on big brands. And whether people like to hear it or not, Spurs is still a big brand. They're still a bigger club than Brighton, no matter what spin people put on it. They'd rather see a bigger club in these bigger competitions. Now, I'm not saying there's a conspiracy or there's something going on behind the scenes, but I wouldn't be surprised if, whoever was on VAR that day was like, oh, it's not really that dodgy. It was clear cut, let's be honest. It was a stonewall penalty. But for some reason, they didn't check it. I mean, I got a chance to watch, obviously, Bilal's video earlier. Make sure you check that out, people, on Bilal's channel. And you did mention some very good points, like especially with the Liverpool one. That was like, we're going to get onto it later, but that was frightening, man. Like, seriously, like what are people seeing? But I just think, like I said, the Premier League's built on big brands, and people higher up maybe would want to see Spurs rather than Brighton in these competitions, in my opinion.
I don't. Yeah. I don't want to see Spurs.
Not us. We're football fans. We're football fans. We don't care about what goes through the balance sheet. We don't care about Spurs,
that. I don't think Spurs play good football. I don't think Spurs are entertaining. I don't think Spurs deserve to be there, to be honest. They don't. They just don't. And Brighton have been robbed of 9 points this season with official apologies. 9 points with official apologies.
That's crazy. That would have been in the Champions League.
Imagine, right, with official apologies, not like us fans discussing saying it. It's official apologies from Howard Webb or whoever is managing this. It's unbelievable. They don't deserve Spurs to be in that position. And I'm sorry for any Spurs fan. Your club is gonna go out of the top 6. Newcastle are taking the spot.
Yeah, and I've read a few things now about the Newcastle takeover, and if I didn't realize how much the British government actually wanted it to happen. They said, like, if this doesn't happen, this could damage relations between the UK and Saudi. We need to make it happen. So listen, even though Tottenham today are being favored, this is why it's a long-term problem for even a team like Tottenham. Today you might be favored, but tomorrow these same referees might decide to favor another team because they think they're going to benefit the league or they're going to benefit them more. And that's why, I don't know, something needs to happen. I like, Michael, your point on the VAR, that it should go to a neutral, perspective, because
what do you mean? What does that mean?
Not the actual refereeing people doing it, because it's the same referees all doing the VAR. One day it's, I don't know, Lee Mason's gone now, so I'll just use him.
One day it's Andre Mariner, the other day it's Michael Oliver, the other guy is what's his name, Craig something. I don't know.
But that's what happens.
They're all the same people.
That's what happens.
But think about it.
They need to change that. That's what I'm saying. They need to change that. They need to stop having refs in VAR.
Let's just say if you're a gang, you run this particular area, right? Are the government going to let you be the police for your own gang? No. The referees need their own police to actually, check these decisions in real time.
There's a better word, Bilal. Accountability. Mic them up so they are accountable for what happens. If you mic them up, they can lie. They can say, well, it's not clear, so we're just gonna call it this way. It can happen because they know that people can hear them. I see your point, but that cannot happen.
We need them conversations.
It cannot happen. It cannot happen. They can never give the VAR to an independent contractor. It will never happen.
It probably will never happen. They'll never give up that power, but it's probably something that, that would be good, man. I think for me, I'd prefer knowing that it's not them checking what's going on. Would be better as a fan that that these guys who are now checking their VAR, they haven't got any bias, right? Or they're paid not to have bias. And I think that would be good. I think Kevin here saying, like an independent group focus solely on VAR. In my opinion, I don't know, this is just quickly before we move on. I would even scrap the VAR. At this point, I think it's worse for these referees in particular. If we're going to keep these same referees to have VAR, I don't know if it's something that we should have going forward. Automated offsides, 100%, if that's going to be a thing. Goal line technology, 100%. But even VAR, these guys, I don't know if anyone has an opinion whether we should just scrap it. Because I watched today the championship, I'm watching non-league. Handball's handball, goal's a goal. If it's wrong, I don't care because it's football and it's not science. If a referee is doing his job honestly and he makes a mistake, I think people will be more than happy, to accept that. But when you have VAR and they look at it time and time again, it starts looking so dodgy. But you know what? We might as well move on. Otherwise, we'll just start. Well, I'll start just talking about this all day. But the next game we'll talk about is Man United versus Everton. And this was an interesting game. Like, what was Sean Dyche doing? Like, Everton thought they were going to get something out of this to start with, and then Man United just took over. Michael, any thoughts on it?
I mean, like you said, Sean Dyche pulled up to Old Trafford with like a mid-block, high line. I don't know what he was trying to do tactically, to be honest. This guy, I don't know what happened in the tactics room. Maybe Frank Lampard was the Everton manager that day and we just didn't know about it. He was managing 2 games in a row. Who knows? Because that was not Sean Dyche ball. That's not what I was expecting. I was expecting the nastiest low block I've ever seen in my life. But he didn't do that. He came to Old Trafford with a high line. That's probably one of the worst decisions you can make when you don't know how to play a high line. Like, I understand if Arsenal, the Big Six come to Old Trafford with a high line because they know how to do it. Not some relegation team. That's not how it works over here. With the same Man United from like 4 or 5 years ago. This is a new Man United. Now, just comfortable win. We should have had 4 goals in the first half, but these players don't know how to finish their dinner. Is what it is. I'm used to it. That's why we need to sign a striker in the summer or just more forwards in general. But I was happy with some of the performances. I said on Never Fall on Saturday with Bruno Fernandes. That was a quarterback performance. I was like watching Aaron Rodgers just dot the ball. It was beautiful passing. He was just pinging. And Everton probably helped a lot with that because they left so much space for the passing behind. It was good. Good to see Jadon Sancho have a better performance. That's 2 back-to-back good performances. That's nice to see. It also kind of shows with him that the more possession-based football we play, the better he'll look. Because if we're going to play on a counter-attacking system, he has no spot in this team because he is one of the slowest wingers I've ever seen in my life, personally. So he needs to be as close to the box as possible. Otherwise, pretty much not that useful. Center back duo Maguire usually gets a lot of blame and stuff like that. He was really good. I think Ten Hag talked about his performance. He dictated from the back, stepped across the attacker, so that was good to see. Obviously, wasn't the best opposition because that Sims guy was at Sunderland 3 months ago. He was hooping with Ahmad. Now he's not a Premier League level striker, to be honest. No disrespect to him. David De Gea, you know me, I'm probably the biggest critic of all time. There is not a bigger David De Gea hater on this planet than me. That pass to Anthony was really good. Not even just because of the pass, the proactiveness from it. I didn't expect him to actually make that pass. It came out of nowhere. Like, I don't think anyone in the stadium, because Sonny, you were there. I don't think you expected David De Gea to make that pass right away. So that's good to see. I hope to see more of that. Should he still be here next year? Absolutely not. But that's another discussion for another day. Just good performance. But I know what it's like at Old Trafford. We always win at Old Trafford, pretty much. We've only lost there 1 game this season. That was the first game. Next 4 out of 5 games, I believe, are on the road. Can we replicate this Old Trafford form at away? Because we probably need 3-4 more wins to secure top 4. We're gonna and we have 2 of our biggest top 4 opposition is away: Spurs away and Brighton away. And Marcus Rashford might not be there because I don't know what's going on with his groin. I know he did a scan yesterday. The results haven't come out yet. I hope it's just a tweak. Maybe we can last without Rashford for the next 3 games. I think FA Cup game is the 4th game away. We need Marcus Rashford for the FA Cup, and we need him after that because we can handle Sevilla without Rashford, and we can handle Forest away because Casemiro's back. Just don't get a red card, please. I would like to see Casemiro on the pitch for more than 2 games in a row. And but we have a tough run coming up, and we're going to need our best forward for it. Otherwise, we could go from having 2 trophies on top 4 to just a trophy because things are still in the mix of the balance.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at your run here. Obviously, I scrolled down quite a bit. Let me just go back up. So you got Sevilla, Forest, Sevilla. Okay, cool. Chelsea game postponed, so that's going to happen at some point as well. So you're going to end up playing Brighton in the Cup, Tottenham, Villa, Brighton again in the Prem, West Ham, who are probably fighting for their lives, and then I'm guessing that Chelsea game, obviously. So it's not an easy run. But Sani, are you confident that this Man United team, because if you have your first 11 fully fit, right? Yeah, it should be no problem. But will this team stay fit? Number 1, I see Martial coming back. Will he stay fit? Nobody knows. Sancho, hopefully, he gets a bit of form for you guys. Rashford, that's a question mark now. What do you see this Man United team doing over the next, few months? Well, next 2 months, really.
No, it's a very good question because, like Michael and obviously you have alluded to, fixture congestion is a real problem for us at the moment. Rashford's got injured. I mean, it was good to see Eriksen come back. I mean, like Michael mentioned, I was at the game and that was a relief because we are definitely lacking midfielders. Obviously, Casemiro will be back midweek against Sevilla, but we definitely need midfielders because you could tell in that game especially, I was worried because I was thinking Anana, Gay and Iwobi at the 10 could be a long day for us, but we handled it well. I mean, I know obviously you put up the lineups and I'm surprised Fotmob gave Sabitzer a 6.8. I thought Sabitzer was probably one of our better midfielders that game. I think he was great. That was probably one of his best games so far in Man United shirt. The way he managed to deal with them physically and even going forward, he was playing some great balls. But I was really surprised with Everton. I mean, going into that game, I thought, oh, it's going to be a dogged game, like Michael mentioned, low block. But when I saw the first ball that went over the top for Rashford, I was like, how much space are they giving him? Like, seriously? And then Anthony had a few chances. I mean, shout out Jordan Pickford. He did make some really good saves for them. But some of the finishing was atrocious as well. I was just there like, my God, I know people are speaking about Rashford could be the number 9 going forward for us, but that's the kind of game where people go back to the whole, is Rashford really a number 9 if his finishing's like that? But listen, it was a good win. It was good to see Sancho back on the score sheet. Well, score sheet, more like assist sheet. And like Michael mentioned, he ain't quick, but he's very intelligent. And that's what a lot of the, styles, especially with play-wise anyway, that's what he was trying to do in that game. There's very cute passes, especially for that McTominay assist. It was a cute pass. Like, I didn't even think he was going to pass it. And I was like, oh my God, what an assist sort of thing. But listen, let's see what happens. Away from home, like Michael mentioned, is our kryptonite. At home, we're fine. Sevilla, Thursday, we should win that game. Forest away, listen, they've got the best record when it comes to the relegation candidates from home this season. So definitely not an easy place to go, but we get through that. Sevilla away, Brighton. It's tough, Bilal. It's tough. And that 3-game, I think it was Spurs, Brighton, Villa. Villa are in incredible form at the moment. Brighton away, tough. Spurs, listen, I'm not looking forward to it. I think we'll have enough just to get through, just because I think Ten Hag will have a plan, but it's not going to be easy, my friend.
Yeah. Mo, on Man United, do you see them keeping that top 4 position? Do you think the Europa League might be a distraction, the FA Cup? If they can win these trophies at the end of the day, especially the Europa League, because if you win the Europa League, you get top seeded, right, in the Champions League. So there's a big incentive actually to win that competition now. Do you think they'll be distracted or would you think they'll be fine in all of these?
No, they will be distracted. No, they will be distracted. They will be distracted with the Europa League and the Cup. Erik Ten Hag would want the Europa League more than the top 4. Right? This is just because of the top seeded thing. But however, this Man United team is 2 different teams: team away from home and team at home. Like against Fulham at home, dominated Fulham. No. Yes, in the Cup you didn't, but I think
they
another
dominated
game.
Us. They dominated us.
They dominated you in the Cup, which is the only game. But I see other games you make teams look really average at home. Brentford, you dominated Brentford, even though you won only 1-0. And I don't know what happens when you go on the road against the team, the top 10 teams. You just go back to defending. You're not playing good football. And if Man United allows Spurs to get that top 4,
it's disgrace.
Ten Hag should resign.
Oh my God.
Let's put it this way. It's that bad. It's that bad because Spurs have a terrible run in. And it's the same as Man United. Man United are like, what are they, like 3 points with a game in hand? They should definitely get that top 4, man. Spurs shouldn't be there. But to be honest, if Rashford is injured, it's a big problem for Man United. Massive problem. But Casemiro is coming back.
Listen, Tottenham are weird. When it comes to top 4, to be honest, right, I think I saw enough in that Brighton game to know Tottenham. Top 4, they might just do it because they've got the strikers. Kane, Son, the goal he scored. Shout out to that. It was a great
come
goal.
on, don't get carried away. Don't get carried away. It's a 1 goal for Son. Yes, he has it in his locker, like what he did against Leicester. But his performance overall in this game, by the way, was absolutely terrible. Son lost the ball most of the time he got it. It was bad. Apart from the goal, it was bad.
But again, apart from the goal, this is the thing. These are players who they don't even need to play well. The club doesn't even need to play well, but somehow they could maybe find a way to sneak up there. So it's something to look at if you're Man United, especially if you're playing them. That means you don't lose when you go to Tottenham.
We gotta beat them. No, we gotta beat them. A draw's not good enough. We gotta beat them there. There's no excuse not to beat them there. We have to beat them there in top 4 is wrap because they're not gonna come back from that. But we must beat them because our game in hand is
there. Yeah, go ahead.
Because our game in hand is Brighton away. I ain't confident we're gonna beat Brighton in the Cup or in the league, to be honest. Because I see us going out in the semifinal of the FA Cup, especially if Rashford's not playing. But that Brighton team, they're the type of teams that we struggled against, are the type of team that Brighton know how to play. Because they know how to play ball, they know how to press, and we don't know how to handle press. Because if Bruno Fernandes plays this deep,
oh,
he's gone.
He's gone and he's gone. Yeah, but
think about it. Man United play the first game away in the Cup. The first game away in the Cup. I think they're going to lose to Brighton. I have doubts about Sevilla without Rashford, to be honest. I have doubts about Sevilla without Rashford, but they should actually win against Sevilla. But Man United, listen, what a disappointment if they don't make top 4 and they don't win the Europa League. what a disappointing it will be, because they were in pole position. Because
third.
they were in really good position, like 5-6 weeks ago, to make it theirs. They were in title race. You remember?
Title race, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. Life comes at you quick. It really
we
does.
haven't even played our full starting 11 yet. That's the crazy thing. We haven't had a game of our full starting 11 yet all season. Our strongest starting 11 hasn't played this season. That's crazy.
What's your full starting 11?
The Haaland goal.
Martial. You're talking about Martial.
Yeah, Martial on the striker.
I don't care about Martial. He's injured all the time, bro.
Don't matter. But we haven't even seen a game of it. Forget like a 5 game. We haven't seen a game of it.
He should have been sold in the summer, and he should have had.
Well, he should have been. But even
this is the guy you sent to Sevilla, man, and he got booed.
Even Rashford, Sancho, Anthony, we've only seen it like 6-7 times. I had to see Wout Weghorst for 20 games in a row. Do you know how much of a criminal offense that is, man? 20 games. That's half a season.
Nah. You know what? Weghorst, Man United fans were gassing him until he touched the Anfield. You never walk alone.
No, I was gassing him for the first game, and then I saw him run like Gary the Snail from SpongeBob, and then I gave up.
Weghorst did his job for 2 million. You're not gonna get a better 2 million loan signing.
Abubakar would have done better.
Yo, hey, listen, I was gonna say that because I saw one goal he scored for Besiktas. Abubakar. Oh my, this guy, him versus Salah as
The
well.
Cameroonian Abubakar.
Yeah. He ain't losing 7-0 at Anfield against Salah. That's Salah's biggest hater. He's dropping a hat trick on Salah's head. I promise you.
Man United, to be honest, should make top 4, and they wouldn't make that final Europa League. They're gonna go out for Juventus or something. I think so.
Juventus for me. I've got them as favourites for Europa League, but we'll see. I think Juventus is the way.
Mourinho, Roma. Don't sleep
Roma's
on
the
Mourinho.
one. Roma's the one. Roma's my fear.
Italian team. So
I'm scared of Juve. I ain't scared of Roma. I'm scared more of Juve.
Roma's on the other side, bro.
If we get to the final, our pace and power will be too much for that club. Juventus, I'm scared of because they got winners on that. Yo, Di Maria scares me. That guy will come to Old Trafford and drop a brace on my head. It's very not out of the realm of possibility. But Roma, I'm not scared of.
Yeah,
but we're allowed to speak on Liverpool, Arsenal at all.
Yeah, no, of course, man. We're moving on right now. So Liverpool at Arsenal, classic. I'm hearing. Okay, Sani. Okay, so apparently it's a classic, but yeah, it was a good game. Not for me. I wasn't really enjoying it, but yeah, it was just one of these games. Liverpool 2, Arsenal 2. Arsenal go 2-0 up. Right, everything's looking good. The sun shining, the birds are singing. And then all of a sudden, they score one before the break. And that second half was, wow, that was one-way traffic. I know we had a few chances, but really and truly, we held on. And I just want to shout out Ramsdale before we do anything. Ramsdale, you made it so my weekend wasn't, completely ruined. And we got out of there with a point. So I'll take that. But Mo, any thoughts on this game? Is this a bad point for Arsenal? Because listen, I'm talking to Grizz yesterday, and he's telling me, now, Man City are favourites. Man City are going to win the league. Even Omar was telling me the same thing. Do you believe this as well? Or do you think Arsenal can recover from this?
Actually,
it's not done.
Yeah. Let me just tell you something. Man City lost, right, at Anfield. So it's number one, it's a point on the board for Arsenal, because if you ask Arsenal fans, they say, we were not expected to win at Anfield because nobody won at Anfield. Man United lost 7. So nobody's expected to win at Anfield. Number 2, from 2-0 up, you should see the game out if you want to win the Premier League, and Arsenal didn't, so that's 2 points dropped. So you can look at it both ways, but in my opinion, it's a fair result. I know people don't look at the stats and say Liverpool deserve to win. However, that first half, Gabriel Jesus had 2 chances to make it 3-0, and he didn't, and the game would be over. One of them was a very easy chance at the far post, and he chose to go dive in with his leg, and I was like, why would you do that? Because he's not an actual number 9. He's not a number 9. He's a false 9. About the second half, I want to say something about Liverpool creating chances. So they created chances, yes, but Ramsdale saved that 1-on-1 from Nunes. And if you put Nunes against Ramsdale in the same chance about 5 times, probably he would miss 3, because that's Darwin Nunes. Mo Salah missed a penalty. That's kind of strange. However, he missed the last penalty as well, didn't he? Mm-hmm. The only chance that I think that it was supposed to be 100% goal is the Konate chance. That chance was it's not, Ramsdale saved it, yes, and it looks good, but it should have been a tap in, to be honest. It's not because, so Mo Salah missing the penalties on him, Darwin Nunes missing the chance is because Ramsdale came up big and saved the chance. But that Konate chance is kind of strange. However, just 20 seconds later, Martinelli should have passed to Saka and they would have been 1-on-1. And Martinelli missed it. So when I say fair results, I'm not looking at the stats. I'm looking at what I saw. What I saw is Darwin Núñez. He is not, for me, not it yet. So I would back Ramsdale to save that 1-on-1 against him. I would back it.
Mm-hmm.
Mo Salah missing the penalty. I completely forgot about it because the game was too quick. And again, I want Liverpool fans. I know a lot of this is Grizz's channel, and Liverpool fans are going to say, yes, we saw a lot of signs in the second half that we're back. Until I see this 2-3 games in a row, I'm not going to say, yes, we saw the Liverpool that can do things. We saw the Liverpool that can run and cover ground and everything. That first half at your ground is shambles. And also, that Liverpool dismantled Manchester United 7-0. And the games after, they were done. So I'm not sitting here and saying, yeah, Liverpool are back. Based on what? Based on one half? You're going to give me 45 minutes and tell me that, yeah, we're back? I don't think so. I think they need to put in some good performances before I say they're back.
Yeah. Sonny, do you think Arsenal were maybe lucky, or do you think it was overall in the 90 minutes, was it a fair result, 2-2, and everyone's happy with that in the end?
It's tough to say fair because although you guys were exceptional that first half an hour, which I say to everyone, being a Man United fan, going to Anfield is the hardest thing in the world. And what do you need to do? First 20, 25 minutes, you need to subdue that crowd. Arsenal were unbelievable and should have been probably 3-0 up, I'd say. But like Mo has mentioned, both teams had some very good chances. I know people are going to speak about how Liverpool had 8 big chances, and obviously XG and all that will come into it. Ramsdale made some great saves. But I think going to Anfield and getting a point cannot be understated. And I've done some research as well on the weekend. In the previous 20 seasons, so like excluding Liverpool, let's look at the last 20 winners of the Premier League. 15 teams have either drawn or won at Anfield, and they've gone on to win the league. So only 5 teams have lost at Anfield in that season that they've won the league, which is a pretty damning stat because it goes to show, one, how hard it is to win at Anfield, or even getting a result at Anfield and still win the league. It is the hardest stadium to go to in the Premier League and get a result. And listen, I think fair result, fine, potentially, especially at the end when Ramsdale made that wonder save with that deflected shot of Salah. Konate missed that sitter. But I think Arsenal fans should be happy because so many years have gone by where you've gone to Anfield and got smashed. I remember 13-14, you were in the title race that season. What happened? You got smashed 5-1. 07-08, you drew. 15-16, you drew. All these games, you were in all these seasons, you were in the title race. And it didn't really happen. But this year, I still think it's in Arsenal hands. Because people got to remember, fine, people are saying, City have got easier fixtures, etc. But if Arsenal win all their games, they still win the league. You still have 6 points on City, regardless of City have a game in hand. Points are not the same. Having more points is not the same as winning games, right? You need to still win the games. It doesn't matter about games in hand. So I think Arsenal should be happy. I mean, I might be biased here because I'd rather Arsenal win the league than Man City. But I just think going forward, it's a point gain for Arsenal, and Arsenal fans should be happy that they've gone out Anfield without losing because that's a big result.
Yeah, Michael, do you echo the same thoughts as Sani there? Or do you look at it like maybe Arteta could have done better, Arsenal mismanaged the game, and to be honest, let Liverpool win too much in that second half? How do you see it?
In terms of the first half, the first 35 minutes were probably the best I've seen an opposing team play at Anfield in front of a full crowd. That was utter domination. I mean, but the warning signs were still there, bro, because Robertson missed a sitter and Salah missed an easy chance. So the warning signs were still there from Liverpool, but I thought Arsenal dominated. Like Mo said, Gabriel Jesus probably should have made it 3-0. Jesus and Martinelli were absolutely exceptional in that first half. Martinelli was on it. He cooked Trent within the first minute. So you knew it was going to be a long day. It was also interesting to see Klopp use Trent in midfield because from the 5th minute, I'm like, why is Trent so inverted? But it made sense because Konate handled his side. That was one of the best center back performances this season from individually because he was a monster and he was holding his center back partner's hand all game, in my opinion. But I know people are gonna say Xhaka incident. For me, I don't think it was that. I think because it was Granit Xhaka that did it because he's known for the controversial and the anger that he typically had in the past with the red cards. That it was Granit Xhaka, but I don't think it was that. It was just Liverpool got a little jolt from it. But if you think about it, in that incident, Ben White got a yellow. Trent got a yellow card. So in a way, it worked because that means your most frightening attacker in that game and then his opposing fullback got a yellow card. So that probably means more advantage to Arsenal than Liverpool, if you're going to be honest. And then in the second half, remember the game at Old Trafford when it was 1-1, right? And then Arteta made the subs. Yeah. He did the same mistake. That keyword guy, why was he on the pitch? The guy's played like 2 games for Arsenal. This is a big game. This is meant as a game that one of the last few games that could really determine Arsenal's like challenge. Obviously, every game matters, but this was like an important game in the title race. Why are you bringing that guy on? Because for me, Rob Holding was actually having a good game until he conceded the penalty. But bar that, I thought he was a pretty decent performance for Rob Holding standards.
Yeah, for his standards, yes.
For his standards, obviously. It's a big downgrade from Saliba, but Rob Holding held his own for most of that game. Why is that keyword guy coming in? I thought
because he has no option, Mike, because he has no option.
No, but he invited the pressure by bringing on another center back.
Yeah, but he wanted the center back, and he looked at the bench and he saw one.
Yeah. I don't understand the point of bringing on a center back. Is my point. I don't think he should have brought one on. Odegaard should have been subbed off a lot earlier because that guy was poor that game. I thought Odegaard. That was Odegaard at away games. He's a really good player, but there has something to be said. Odegaard away games against Big Six under the lights ain't the best player, so he has that to work on, in my opinion. I thought Saka was poor. I don't think he was good. But in terms of Liverpool, I thought, like Mo said, the second half, bro, we saw against Man United. You beat your biggest rival 7-0, and the week after, and 6 days later, you lose to Bournemouth away. So this is Liverpool. At Anfield, they're going to look good, and then they'll go away from home and then look crap. Because they created the chances. I thought Ramsdale, that was probably one of the best goalkeeper performances because that deflection save, usually when it takes that kind of deflection, it makes it so much harder to save. Exceptional save. The Konate miss is unexcusable because I don't know how Konate didn't score that. But in the balance of things, I thought Liverpool personally deserved to win a little bit more, but maybe like 55-45 because they did dominate more of the game in terms of the chances created. But I thought it should be a 2 points job for Arsenal because if you go up 2-0 in any game, you're expected to hold on, especially a team of your caliber. It's not like remember when Bournemouth went up 2-0 at your ground. They're expected to drop that 2-0 lead at Arsenal away. When you're champions elect, you're the first place team. You've been the best team in the country all year. You're expected to not drop the point. Same thing as Man City. Man City went at Anfield. They went up 2-0. They're expected to close out that game. No matter if it's Anfield, no matter if it's Santiago Bernabeu, whatever stadium it is, you're expected to hold on to that lead. And you should have gotten the third goal to cancel out the game, and you didn't. So I guess, but I know some fans are happy with the point because at that, like Sani said, it's not easy to go to Anfield, especially even if you're first place. It's easy to drop points over there, but because now it is technically still in Arsenal's hands, but now it's you. Everyone said that if Arsenal messed up one time, it goes into City's favor because a lot of people were predicting City to beat Arsenal at the Etihad. I don't think Arsenal will beat City at the Etihad because I know a lot of people say it's the empty hot and everything. Every big game that Man City have at home, they win. They don't lose big games at home. They're in championship mode. If you look at the last, I think Pep has amassed the most points in the final 10 games of a season more than any other manager. In 2018-19, that Liverpool City title race, they ran the table. I think personally that City will run the table the rest of the season. I don't think they're losing. I think Pep has found the solution for himself and for his team. So Arsenal fumbled, and it's now in City's hands. So now you have to go to Etihad, and you have to get a point.
Yeah,
you have to get a point.
Bilal, I want to ask you a question. If you didn't watch the game, and I told you that your team Arsenal were 2-0 until minute 45, and then it was 2-2, would you feel happy or not happy?
If I didn't watch the game, I would not be happy. Obviously,
at Anfield or anything, you would say,
if I didn't watch the game and I didn't have the context behind it, then I wouldn't be happy. But my initial feeling, as soon as the game finished, was like, whew, we got away with one today because we should have lost. And that was obviously off the back of that Salah and Konate chance. For me, when Martinelli had the ball, towards the end, I didn't fancy him to make the right pass because he's not that type of player. So it's one of those, I don't know, for me, I thought he was going to continue running with the ball and then give himself an easy pass.
He should have.
Yeah, that's what I thought he was going to do. I didn't expect him to try and do like a long pass. I thought that's not his game. If it was a Trossard, if it was a Smith Rowe or someone like that, okay, they can get away with maybe doing that. But honestly, for me, it's weird. The day after, so this is the day after, right? I'm sitting here and I'm thinking now, Arteta, I feel like kind of cost us the game more than yesterday. Yesterday, I said he made a few mistakes, but today I've got that feeling where I'm like, damn, you know what? I think Arteta messed up a lot because in that second half, right, he could have made a few subs. Like Jorginho was one player. Why is he not getting a look in to come in, control the game a little bit more, help us out in the middle? When he brings on Trossard, is it the right thing to take out Jesus? Because even though Jesus wasn't winning the battles against Kunate and Van Dijk, right? The one thing he was doing was actually making them actually have to do something. When Trossard comes on and goes in that position, like there's nothing happening. There's no battle. Maybe Saka should have come off, right? Because Martinelli obviously was the best attacker out of the three. He should stay on the pitch. Maybe a few things like that. Go into a 5 at the back. But you know what it is? It comes down again to the experience of Arteta in these sort of moments as a manager. When we went to Man United away, the same thing. The subs were wrong. And against Liverpool, right, Jurgen Klopp made like 4 changes. He brought on Firmino, he brought on Nunes, he brought on Thiago, he brought on so many. He kept on trying to change the atmosphere and change the trajectory of the game. But Arteta, for me, just was waiting way too long. And he does this in general, right? He's not someone who makes a lot of subs. Even Pep's the same. He don't really make a lot of subs. But in that sort of game, when you do make the sub, it has to be effective. It has to work. And you bring on Kiwior, who he's played. He hasn't even played 2 Premier League games. He's played, if you count the minutes, it's probably less than 45 minutes now altogether. Because I think he came on against, was it Bournemouth towards the end? Played, I think, against Sporting in the Europa League, and then now against Liverpool. But yeah, for me, the day after, for me, weirdly enough, feels a bit worse than yesterday. I don't know, as a fan. Like yesterday, I was not happy with the point, but I was relieved that we got the point. But today, when you analyze it in the cold light of day, and you try and see maybe what Arteta could have done better, there were so many opportunities, I think, that he could have got control of the game properly, and then maybe get us a 3-1. You know, when it's 2-1, make it 3-1 instead of it becoming 2-1, then 2-2. But yeah, that's just the way I feel right now. But
I don't like Klopp subs either, though. I don't like Klopp subs either. I thought, until he brought on Firmino, I thought Firmino was his best sub, but I thought Curtis Jones was playing better than Thiago, to be honest, in that aspect. I thought Curtis Jones was better. I don't like the Thiago sub because he tried to actually speed up the game, and he's going to kind of simplify the game. He was trying a lot of cute passes. And actually, when you look at Klopp subs, Arsenal, actually, in that span between the Klopp's first sub and until he brought Firmino, Liverpool had no shots. So it was kind of when Arsenal regained the advantage of it. I think in that span, you had the Gabriel free header that Alisson saved. So in that sense, Klopp subs weren't good either. But I thought the biggest mistake was not bringing Zinchenko off for Tierney, because Zinchenko was getting cooked for a lot of that second half. A lot of damage was done from Salah 1v1s. And Tierney is a much better 1v1 left back than Zinchenko, because Zinchenko, we all know how he loves his inverted runs, kind of stick in midfield. He's not really your traditional fullback.
Yeah, listen,
and I thought
just to butt in. Honestly, for me, watching Zinchenko yesterday, I thought he was having a good game. You know, until he got done by Trent, yes. And maybe, yes, you could bring on a Tierney last 30 minutes to try and close the game on that side. But I honestly thought Zinchenko was doing all right. And
by the way, he got done between his legs, which happens. I don't get it. Why people have like a lot of criticism for him. He actually closed his legs. Like credit to Trent to put it between his legs for a mig like this. But it's not like he went flat-footed. He was like closing the angles, and then Trent. But sometimes you gotta applaud a moment of genius instead of just criticizing the other person. Because I thought he blocked that side. Him and Gabriel, to be honest, controlled Salah and Trent during probably 80 minutes. So I don't get it why people want to criticize him. If you want to criticize Trent for that first half shambolic defensive performance. The guy is flat-footed, doesn't know where to stand. He is not a right back in a back four. He shouldn't be. But I don't get it. There's a massive backlash against Zinchenko on all the social media for some reason. What, everybody gets dribbled.
Yeah, honestly, for me, when it happened, I was like, oh, come on, man, why are you getting done? Like, it's a goal. But I never blamed him, Zinchenko, for that, because I honestly, during the game itself, I was like, yo, Zinchenko's actually having a really good game. Salah's not really getting much of a look in. Gabriel as well is helping out. Gabriel, again, monster performance for me. You know, he's
what about Firmino, Bilal, at the far post? What about Firmino when you have 4 defenders inside the 18 and Firmino wins the header? Again, it's Ben White, Kiwior, Holding and Gabriel. Come on. You want to blame the fullback that got dribbled and before the cross? Come on. This is not every player is going to win every single one-on-one battle. It's not going to happen.
Holding is a concern, though, going into this run-in, to be honest. I don't know what the time frame is on Saliba, but listen, he is an issue, especially if you're going to go to Newcastle away, City away. And even then, I'm pretty sure you got Brighton at home. I'm not saying Arsenal are an awful side at home, but Brighton are still a good side to play, whether that be home or away. It's not going to be an easy game. And 100%. Holding someone that, listen, fair play, he's come in and you've got to do a job when you're there. But at the end of the day, if if he has another game like that, I think at Anfield it's going to be an issue. Whether you put Ben White in the middle, and then I don't know I don't know what's the issue with Tomiyasu. Is he injured for a long period?
Yeah, he's out
or
for the season. Out for the season.
That's
now.
the problem. It's hard to find right back then that you can put there. So it's tricky, but holding for me is scary because, like I said, I might not have a dog in this fight, but I'd rather Arsenal win the league than Man City. So all I'm saying, Bilal, is I don't know if you can get to that changing room. Yeah, I don't know if Bilal can get to that changing room. I mean, Mo agrees with me as well, but you need to just say to Arsenal,
no, it's a worry.
Win the league.
I think now with Saliba, it's a case of, for me, I wouldn't even risk him. Let him rest until that Man City game. That's the target. Because we've got West Ham and Southampton next. Holding can play in those games. That's fine. But it's those high-level games. When you go Liverpool, when you go Newcastle, you go Man City. Those 3 games in particular, I don't trust Holding that much. And even the penalty he gave away, even if it was soft, it still gave away a penalty. But quickly, guys, let's just touch on the Man City game as well. Because you know what? They're clicking into gear. They're looking good. And you can see even the formation that FootMob's got here. You can see what they're doing. Like, it's interesting. Before the game, Pep's talking about Kyle Walker. He says he cannot do it, in terms of the inverted right back role. But John Stones, the guy's cooking. Grealish is looking good now. Yeah, he's waking up. And Haaland, this guy is he's just a monster. I don't know what to say about anyone.
He turned. Yeah, no. The number one thing is that Pep Guardiola turned into the 50s of football, which is 5 defenders, 5 attackers. It works like this. He has 5 defenders on the pitch, and he trusts them to defend the whole game. And he has 5 people going forward who trust them to score lots of goals. And it's working. For me, nobody plays this type of football. He has 5 people, it's unbelievable, but it's working. Again, Pep Guardiola went back to the system that makes it work against 19 teams or 18 teams in the league. That system works. It's simple. You cannot bypass the press. That means you cannot go one-on-one with the defenders. And most of the teams don't even have the quality to go one-on-one with these defenders and beat them. Diaz, Akanji, Stones, or Ake, they are good enough to stop any forward one-on-one. And he trusts them. It is not like, it's kind of a strange brand of football, but it's working and they're scoring a lot of goals. Jack Grealish now free to do whatever he wants with the ball, and he's doing what he wants, and he's doing what he used to do with Aston Villa: switch of play, controlling the tempo, being direct, or even being slow on the ball. I like this Man City. It's exciting. It's actually very, very exciting.
Yeah,
but it's kind of before I move on, it's kind of strange to watch this Man City because now the football is predicted, and it's you can predict what is going to happen in the game. The Man City, the beginning of the season, you're like going to the games like, oh, which Man City is going to show up? This one is kind of like, yeah, I know that they're going to win. And they probably
isn't that the best Man City though? That's the best Man City. Even when they had Aguero, Sterling, Sane, I knew how they're going to play. I knew what kind of cutbacks they're looking for. But that's Man City at their best. We know what they're going to do. They know what they're going to do, but they still do it. And that's the most dangerous Man City, because when they don't know what they're going to do and they turn up, the result can go any way. But when they have the idea in their head, the picture of how to score a goal, I remember Pep, he did a little interview, said, listen, I teach the players how to play from the goalkeeper area to the edge of the the box for the opposition. But inside the box, obviously that's the job of the striker now to finish. He's got Haaland now to finish just that last bit of the puzzle. But Michael, on Man City, do you see them now just Champions League, FA Cup? Are they the favourites in every competition now that they're playing just because of the way they're clicking?
Yeah, I think they're the favorites for Champions League. Obviously, they've always been the favorites for Champions League every year, but everyone also expects them to lose because they're Man City. They always find this one game where they're just going to bottle it. But if they play like this, because this Man City also has a level of pragmatism that other Man Cities don't have. Like, obviously, Sulemana got in behind a couple times, but that guy's an insane outlet. His pace and the directness is insane, but he has no final third IQ, so it didn't end up really costing them anything. And it might be a trouble in Champions League because if Vinicius, let's say, for example, gets in those positions that Sulemana got, Madrid might score. We saw last year what he did to Fernandinho, and he sent that guy into retirement, everything. But this Man City team is strong. They also have something that they haven't had in previous years. They have Erling Haaland, and if that guy one-on-one in front of the net, 99% of the time you expect him to bag it, and it's incredible. The bicycle kick, he finally scored a goal that people can say, oh, he's not the simple tap-in. He scored a goal that kind of makes you get out of your seat, anything. Jack Grealish, like Mo said, this is Aston Villa Jack Grealish. This guy's been their third best player or second best player since the World Cup, maybe except Nathan Ake, who's been sensational. Ruben Diaz is back, and I actually rated that he brought Diaz back because they need a leader at the back. He's a monster at the back. He's a leader. He's aggressive. He's everything that you want in a modern-day center back. And John Stones is a supreme footballer. This guy can play any position in the back four, and he can play any position in midfield. And like in the DM, he inverts because he could do a better job than Kyle Walker. That Pep said, because John Stones is far superior on the ball than Kyle Walker. He's just incredible. KDB, it's kind of fun. It's kind of easy to do his job when you have Erling Haaland to aim to it, but he also makes some spectacular passes. And it's interesting though. There's no Bernardo Silva in that lineup. I want to see maybe if he sticks with that, or will he bring Bernardo in for a Gundogan, or will he take out Mahrez for it? I'm actually interested to see, because for me, I play Gundogan more because I think Gundogan is like their best third man runner, and he's probably their best goal scorer outside of like a Haaland, because he has the instinctive finishing inside the box. So I'd probably stick with him, but it's interesting. But Pep has figured it out. We've all been waiting for him to figure it out. We all question whether he'll figure it out with this kind of new player with a Haaland, the more directness player. Will he be able to coincide with that? And he has. And now it's kind of scary, because from the beginning of the season, where people thought maybe City go trophyless, they could end up doing a treble very easily now. It's kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah, Sonny, do you see them now winning this treble? I know you said you want Arsenal to win the league because you don't want them to do the three-peat. Are you worried that this Man City team, listen, they can win all the belts?
Listen, he's talking about all the belts like it's Roman Reigns and got the Universal Championship. Trust me, Bilal, I'm telling everyone that I'm not looking forward to the next couple weeks, because if they get a three-peat with a treble, our greatest achievement, which is the treble, gets blown to smithereens. And the fact that it's during a three-peat season, Jesus Christ, it's not going to be easy for us. I know there's been seasons, especially the last couple of ones, where it's been either Liverpool or City to win the league, and it's been tough to watch it, because people have been asking me, who'd you rather win the league? And it's like, I don't want to choose, but if I had to, I'd rather be City than Liverpool. But listen, they are cooking at the right time. What both Mo and Michael said is very, very factual. I think you got to give a shout out to Pep putting John Stones as that CDM role. Like, that's a pretty good. I mean, to think that John Stones is one of their best centre backs, well, in terms of someone who's fit going forward, because Laporte's never really been always consistently fit, and Ruben Dias always has his injury concerns as well. But to think that John Stones has now moved into that DM position and he's doing a pretty good job is sensational. And the fact that Kyle Walker, right, a player that Pep has always trusted, isn't really getting a look into this system, speaks volumes as to how much Pep probably tries and trusts this system as well. It's going to be interesting in that City game, though. I don't think this three at the back that they've got, with two in the middle, whatever you want to say, four in the middle, and then Grealish and Mahrez, is going to be the ideal formation in that game. But if that means that he plays this and Arsenal cook them and get a win, then I'll be happy, because I'm telling you now, if they get a three-peat in treble, some seriously uncomfortable conversations are going to be had this summer about who's the best Premier League side of all time, because that is going to be seriously tough.
Yeah, Pep Guardiola, man, he's changing. He's changed football. He's changed football, the way we look at it, the way league titles are for everything. Like, when he finishes, he's probably going to go down as the best manager for me of all time. But Mo, I just wanted to ask you, literally, just because we're here, it's nothing to do with Prem Khanage, but I just noticed Benfica Inter tomorrow. Any thoughts quickly? What's going to happen? Are you confident in Inter doing anything?
No,
against Benfica?
I'm not confident at all. I'm expecting us to go there and maybe lose 1-0, but I'm hopeful that our experienced player might get us through and we get a draw or something there. If we win, a plus. But if I'm a pick and I put my money, I'll put my money on Benfica, because my club is in shambles now. Absolutely garbage football, garbage manager, and the players need to just be slaughtered in a public square, each and every one of them.
I'm sorry for asking. I should have asked, man. But yeah, it's been a good episode of.
It's miserable. It's miserable.
Yeah, it's
City Bayern tomorrow, right?
Yeah, City Bayern tomorrow. If Inter,
I'm very unlucky. I'm very unlucky because tomorrow is Inter Benfica, so I'll do a watch along for this. And Inter play Juventus in the second leg, the same time, exactly same time at 8:00, April 26th, when Man City play Arsenal. They're idiots.
Yeah.
They are idiots. The people that schedule this are just idiots.
Yeah, I don't know why Arsenal. We played Man City already midweek. I don't know why we're playing them again. Why can't you just play on the weekend? Like, it's Premier League. It's not Champions
They're
League.
putting that on Peacock here in America too. They're not even putting it on live TV here. They're putting it on Peacock. They already announced that.
The City Arsenal game.
Yeah,
bro, it's such a weird time. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But let me just read this quickly here. Super chat before we wrap up. My KFC here says, to the panel, surely if Pep does a treble three-peat, he's the GOAT. I mean, already in my opinion, he is. From player development to tactics, he's so good. Yeah. For me, I'll start off 100%. For me, he's already, for me, he's already the greatest football mind that we've had in the last 20 years. So
only in the leagues. Only in the leagues.
I agree.
It's completely different animal. The people that read games within the game, within like inside the game, they're different than the people that create systems. I don't think he's one of the people that read the game and make changes like Ancelotti, for example, that can win you a game or something like this. I think even Jurgen Klopp is a better manager in terms of reading the game within. I think Pep Guardiola is the best ever coach to grace the game with systems and develop players ever.
Unbelievable. I probably echo what Mo said. I know a lot of people got onto Pep Guardiola about his leagues because he went to Bayern, it's an easy league. Oh, everyone wins it in Spain, etc. But he smashed records in both leagues, came to City, transformed City, dominated leagues. Like the fact that Liverpool have only won one in the past couple of seasons is crazy. And to think that, let's say City wins it now. They've won 5 out of the 6 Premier Leagues, which is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And I know he will get judged on his Champions League kind of haul, but listen, the fact that Fergie only won 2 in 26 years at Man United, speaks volumes as to how hard it is actually to win the Champions League. So, yeah, great manager. If he trebles and three-peats, though, I'm probably not going to come on a stream for a while because that will be very, very hard.
Yeah, Michael, I'll give you the last say before we wrap up. Pep Guardiola, is he greater than Alex Ferguson? If he does even more special things this season for Man City.
I mean, he's getting closer in that respect. I think he's a better tactician than Sir Alex Ferguson. I mean, it's a whitewash in that respect, to be honest. No disrespect to Fergie, but just Pep is just much better tactically because we saw what he changed He changed football in England, especially everyone's trying to play out the back now and everything. So he changed that mind. But I don't think he's greater because I think building 4 different teams is something that no one really can do over 2 decades, and the consistent success. Whether people say refs and everything, it's just he built 4 different teams and they all dominated. So I don't think Pep can reach that level, but I think Pep will say that himself. But he's getting closer and closer for it. And tactically, I don't think there's a better manager ever than him in terms of, like Mo said, the systems and everything. Domestically wise, I don't think there's many managers that could beat Pep in the league more than once. I don't think any manager has won the league twice in the same time that Pep's managed the league. I think it's only been 1 time. So that's just crazy to think about.
Yeah, in terms of league football, it's just a stranglehold. Like, even when Mourinho won it with Real Madrid, did he not have 100 points? Was it like?
Yeah,
Mourinho. This is what he forces people to do.
It was the best goal scoring team in La Liga history.
This is what you see, Mourinho, goal scorer. This is what he's forcing Mourinho to do. I think that just sums it up. In terms of leagues, Pep is just like, yeah, he's changed the game. Knockout football, 100%. It's a different game, as Mo said. Ancelotti, Klopp, these managers, Mourinho's, they read the actual in-game stuff. But in terms of setting up a plan, yeah, there can't be anyone better than Pep Guardiola. But anyway, guys, follow all of these guys on their socials. It's been a great show again, Premier League Khanage. And yeah, guys, we'll be back with you guys next time.